What is up, gamer dudes and girls? Welcome to the Saints' second annual semifinals for Marvel Rivals. Today I am joined by.
Wyatt, the one and only Swag Studios, Rapson. It's a pleasure to be on the desk with you, Ali. I'm very excited for some Marvel Rivals that we have for you, lovely ladies and gentlemen, gamer girls and gamer boys today.
And none other.
Hayden King, also known as Phaser. Excited to be here, guys. Got a great co-caster, got a great host, and a great game for you guys at home. It's going to be an exciting one with a couple of St. Clair students bashing it out on Marvel Rivals.
I'm so glad you guys can join me. Today we have Team Thor versus Team Guardians. How are we feeling about that? Pretty even matchup, I'd say.
Yeah, pretty even. Like, we have talent spread around everywhere. Like, for those who don't know, we've got an uprising Marvel Rivals club team at the school, and there's members from the team on both sides here, which is going to be very interesting to see how they like to clash heads and play against each other, which is definitely something, as coach of said team, I'm going to be looking out for, and it's going to be interesting to watch. But then we've also got talent from around the world. Like, we have Smash players, we got Valorant players, so I'm going to be interested to see how they like to integrate themselves into a game they're not too comfortable with.
I heard there's even some bad blood on some teams. Like on Team Thor, we have Schwam gunning for Carmageddon on Team Guardians. And also on Team Thor, we have Landon, who's gunning for Zachary. I believe there's some really bad blood, which could lead to a really interesting matchup. What do you think, Hayden?
Yeah, I think both of these teams, they've talked it out before the match. They've, started a little bit of beef. We were out there, we were on the behind them as they were kind of getting ready. They were, trying to figure out who was going to ban who was going to pick who. It's going to be an exciting one for sure. Both of these teams, they have the ability to win, both of them do, but it's about executing those fundamentals. It's about communicating properly. It's going to be the first team to, kind of find a weakness in the other's, team composition or maybe the play style that they're, approaching it with. It's going to be exciting, to say the least, yeah.
I also heard through the grapevine that the people that play in the finals, whoever wins it, gets a $7 million prize. Isn't that insane? That has to light the fire underneath their seats, get them riled up for today. It's going to be a hell of a matchup, I think. And, yeah.
I don't know. I think Team Thor, in my opinion, they have an advantage here. I think they do. I think they have two club team members, Wyatt, the wonderful coach for the club team, and joined by Schwam, a grandmaster player. He'll be able to, hold the team together. Glue will keep these guys together, and it's important that although they may not be too familiar with each other, to communicate properly and maybe pick something or ban something that's out of the blue to throw off Team Guardians.
I'll have to agree with you. I think Team Thor has talent across the board, but Team Guardians also has a diamond in the rough. They have Carmageddon, who is pretty good within his own rights. I hear he's a Moon Knight main. Go Moon Knight.
That'll be interesting to see. And to your point, Hayden, I have to also mention that it's going to be like I think, as you said it, it's going to be a game of who are we going to ban out, because we've seen Schwam play before. I actually got to play against him myself, and the kind of strategy that we were looking to implement going into the game was we're just going to permaban him. We're just going to ban all the characters that we think he can use, and we got stomped either way. The reason I think that is because when you have a high-level player like Schwam, it doesn't matter who you're going to ban out. He's still going to be able to play at the best that he can. So for some of the teams here, if I had to give them a piece of advice, ban out those players that you know do not play this game. Because if they don't know how to play this game on a character that they can't play, then it's useless. They can't provide any value to the rest of the team, and you're basically making it a 6v5 or a 6v4 if you can get two bans that will immobilize two members on the opposite team.
Head into the game right here, Tokyo 2099 Convergence on Shin Shibuya. I love this map, Wyatt. I love this map. I love the team compositions here as we started off. Coming in, Stralls and Lex, Carmageddon, 3 DPS characters on the side of Team Guardians. On the other hand, we see a little bit of a Jeff action. I know you're a big Jeff enjoyer, and a triple strategist comp from the side of Team Thor.
I have to say, I have to talk about the three strategist composition right now. It's good, but it's not as good as it was before. It definitely enables like better healers like Mantis, and is also just overall really powerful for the entire team. But like Jeff, obviously, as you mentioned, one of my favorites, my current main, waiting pending to get top 500 on that, ladies and gentlemen. But he can play a lot into this, but see, press, we're going to see the switch over to the Mantis, which is what I was expecting. The Mantis with the Cloak and Dagger, and then the Adam Warlock to add on to that. You have healing all around the board, and then you've got Adam Warlock, which just provides healing instantaneously. I think they're going to have a lot of healing on the side of Thor, but I think they're going to lack a little bit in damage, because they have Storm, they have Magneto, they have Spider-Man, but they're very, very squishy.
They are squishy. Team Thor looking to get into the back line. Varsity with the first pick onto No Skill, and Udi back onto Hayes. Those squishy characters getting taken out early. The tank, even with triple supports, gets taken out early. A defensive position for Sky Wizard on the Penny Parker. I love the Penny Parker pick right here. It is perfect for this first point on Shin Shibuya. All Team Thor needs to do is just find some kind of weak point in this defense. Of course, switching over to Human Torch, a brand new character on the Marvel Rivals roster. I think he's pretty strong. Wyatt, give me your take on what you think about this character, as both of these teams are engaging on this first point.
I'm going to be fairly honest, the Human Torch, yes, a new character into the scene can bring a different kind of fire, quote-unquote, fire to the scene, to the game, but I think still overall not one of the best characters you want to be mentioning. You want to be mentioning Lex, who is taking out Schwam on that Storm and is going to be able to deny that combo between the Human Torch and the Storm. That's definitely been like an overestimated, I think concentrated the ultimate and combo within the game, because it's like, oh, big fire tornado, we can mow down everybody. That's one moment in the million that you have when you're not using that, and that's where the composition lacks. Is Human Torch on himself isn't that good of a DPS.
Yeah, this is where those ultimates, those team-ups come into play right here. The time has kind of winded down just a little bit. Both of these teams acquiring ultimates. Team Guardians 4 on the side of the defense, 3 on the side of the attack. They need to find some kind of room. They need to find some kind of pick. And here comes the ult from Boehner and Strahls on the side of Hawkeye to make a difference. The Fear Magneto tries to come in, but Strahls takes it out instantly. A couple of other support ults as well from the side of Team Guardians. They're able to hold this here. Potential Lex bomb from Scarlet Witch, and she finds 3! Beautiful play right there from Team Guardians, and they have secured at least a little bit of a cushion, as the Team Thor cannot push through into that objective with those ultimates.
Well done to Lex. I mean, the ultimate for Scarlet Witch is really hard to use, Hayden. You can pop it, and then you're a walking target. You can instantaneously get denied by any character on the opposing team. And so for Lex to get that kind of value with that in this current day and age, in this current meta, on how players like to play, like players like Adam Warlock, and then also we see Strahls on that Hawkeye, that can just instantaneously take down a Scarlet Witch like that, was great props to her. Now, we are going to see a little bit of a push here. We're going to see the again coming out from Schwam, looking to find 2, finds 3, going over again, going to try to find another. Looks like he does, finds 5, going again, yet again, finds another, and it's all up to Strahls, but he's gonna get ulted again and again and again, and Schwam takes it down.
Farming into the backline, finds another one. He's unstoppable in this backline. Cannot. Oh, I thought he was gonna find another one right there. He could not be stopped as he pulls in Lex with the hook, tries to find another pick onto the Penny. He is taking that front line. Meanwhile, the rest of his team has taken that point. That is what they needed. One breakthrough into that point, and now Team Guardians is on their heels. Schwam, a beautiful play right there, just to stop any kind of push. But Carmageddon gets a beautiful double right there to, stall them out just a little bit more. The time ticks down. Team Thor is pushing this payload.
They definitely made a good play with that stall out. Could have gotten a little bit more value there from Carmageddon, but you know what? It was a great way to stop them a little bit of a halt right there. And we saw a great push there before from Schwam. Has definitely been lighting up, and I think it's players like Carmageddon right now on that Moon Knight that we have to see light up a little bit more. He's getting some tick damage in right now, but he's not finding a lot. His ult's going to get built up very, very fast, and that might be able to save them in here, but the Groot ult is going to come out, and it's going to take 3, 4, 5! Down with the Groot ult! This tree is here to stand and stay!
Wow, that was a great ult from No Skill. Just catches the entire team inside of that root. And now it looks like Team Guardians, they have no answers for this push. They look so strong early on in that defensive position, but now Lex tries to get another bomb off, but she cannot find it. Miguel sets the tone for the attacking side. A couple of ults coming out from both sides right here. Sky Wizard tries to find some kind of utility with this Penny Parker ult, but it seems to be too late as Team Thor has pushed into this first point. 4 minutes 40 left on the clock. Strahls with 1, Strahls with 2. Sky Wizard in the corner with No Skill, able to find him as well. The defense is doing their best to hold just as Team Thor captured that first point.
Yeah, you know what? We mentioned it and we saw it right there. Lex was just denied straight away by Miguel Hayes on that Human Torch, but now we're going to see a great combo out here from Strahls and Carmageddon. Going to find 4 down and going to keep this defensive push up. Now, they are going to have this spawn point, which will make it a little harder for Team Norse to defend it out, but they've been doing great so far. We're going to see Carmageddon trying to get a little cheeky pick right there onto some of the healers, but so far it's been like a pretty all-round fight. It's been pretty good. We're seeing the switch from Hayes from the Human Torch onto the am I forgetting the name of them?
Iron Fist.
Iron Fist, oh my god, how am I forgetting the name? But Iron Fist, great switch off. I think still prominent in the meta, still great for the team, but looks like the attack is going pretty well for them so far.
Yeah, they've just been able to push, and I thought the defense right there, they didn't use the destructive environments to their capabilities, their full capabilities. Carmageddon up on that kind of banister, that catwalk right near the payload, wasn't able to destroy any of it. And now they need to stop this vehicle. There's 3 minutes left. The attack looks to see almost no resistance right here, but we do see a flank coming in from Team Guardians, trying to find some kind of pick early on, but Schwam is the one to do it for Team Thor onto Sky Wizard. That is no tank on the side of the Guardians, but the attack still pushing out of position, but they are just they're moving this payload. They're playing phenomenally. Schwam, another pick. Hayes, another one. These supports, they cannot find any. Oh my goodness, Carmageddon. A beautiful triple right there to deny the payload for just a second. Now, Team Thor has to back up and reset with 2:40 left. It is not looking great for the side of the Guardians.
Yep, and it looks like we're going to find another pick out here from Strahls. Is going to take 2 down, taking down No Skill on that Groot. And you know what? What I'm looking at right now is Schwam with that Bucky ult. That Winter Soldier again and again and again. We saw that was used beautifully before to push them through a tough time, and I think this is what will get them through the next, because they have a lot of ultimates to support it as well. They've got Human with that Adam Warlock. They've also got that Mantis there, and they have that Cloak and Dagger as well. We're going to see the first ultimate drop by No Skill. Is going to find Strahls. Now looking to find another. Finds Sky Wizard. Finds 2. Finds 3. Looking for 3 more left. The again coming out from Schwam as well. Doesn't look like they'll be able to find anybody else, but no. Hayes is going to get 1 as well. Now the Goddess is coming down upon everybody, trying to find something out. Lex finds 2, and now he's just stuck in the air, looking to try and get away from Hayes. He's got that ultimate as well, looking to pop it, trying to find it onto the point, and also just getting dropped left, right, and center.
Beautiful work from the attack right here. The Born Again ult brings them back into this fight. One last push, all they need for this objective to be captured. Schwam, a beautiful shot onto Udi right there, just to kind of get this one wrapped up. One last pick onto Lex would do it, but unable to find it. Strahls, another nice shot on the side of Team Guardians, but the point has been captured. Beautiful work right there from Team Thor all around. I thought both teams played pretty competitively. There were moments from both sides that, you know, they were able to capitalize on, able to move the point, able to capture points, move the payload. But I thought both teams played quite well right there.
Indeed, I have to agree with you. Both teams played stellar. We saw great plays out from players like Lex. We saw No Skill in there. We also saw Carmageddon get a couple themselves, and I think it was just a game of ultimate plays because that was really the big turning points that we saw there. Sure, we saw a couple solo kills and a couple multi kills there just from playing utility and playing primary fires, but the rest of it just came down to ultimates. And we're seeing Hayes. He was doing a great job in the beginning. I was happy that he switched off later to that Iron Fist instead of staying on the Human Torch because, as I said before, I think he is an okay character at best. You can definitely utilize him to a certain extent if you learn him enough, but the rest is just because of skill issue. That character is not set up right to play at the level of everybody else. He can fly away, he can fly very far, but his primary fire is like a shotgun blast. How do you work with that? How do you work with keeping distance and keeping space between enemies since you are so squishy and needing to get up in their face to provide any value?
Yeah, I felt like they tried to, they tried to play a lot with the team ups, the team up abilities. But honestly, it seemed as if once they went for half of a team up, they decided to lean away from the other half. It was a bit of, a tug of war battle between the teams, and maybe that's a lack of communication. Maybe that's, just a lack of strategy. They weren't super familiar with it right there. But I think both teams, like we said, they played well. I really enjoyed No Skill on that group. I really enjoyed Schwam, especially on that Bucky. That was a beautiful chain for the ultimate right there. It was just fantastic work as we head into a replay right here. I think we just have to enjoy how well that both of these teams played, and really they were just putting on highlight reel after highlight reel. It was quite fantastic. I'm honestly shocked. I was expecting a good fight, but not one that was so competitive. What do you think?
I think it's going to be hard to select our MVP. I mean, definitely the game does it for yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, but on the casting desk, we can see so much other value that the game does not capture. Just like many other games in the esports scene, it's better to see it with your own eyes than to just look at the numbers. And I think three names are striking me right now: No Skill, Carmageddon. I would say Lex as well. Lex provided a lot of utilities there and a lot of value. Schwam, most definitely, was a valuable player on their team. Are definitely four that I would highlight as our possible MVPs. I mean, to yourself, do you have anybody else to add or possibly take off of that list, Hayden?
No, I think both. I think all three of those players that you mentioned had moments. They had moments where they excelled, and I think both teams maybe lacked some communication when ultimates were being popped. But overall, I thought those three players that you mentioned, Lex, No Skill, Schwam, they put on a show for sure. And I think it's important that as we look into this replay right here, we can see a lot of great stuff. I just the ultimate when it was popped here by Schwam, just fantastic work, able to pick up the penny, able to find one, able to find another right there, and this was the key kill right here over onto the Hawkeye. Able to find it and extend the timer on the ultimate right there was just it was perfect work, and he already knows that the players are in the back line. Obviously, he cannot see through these walls, but there is a player coming, and that was the one that was able to extend the streak even further. As the timer ticks down, he has to be aware of where these players are respawning, and a good player knows exactly where they are. As he heads out, sees another two, one onto Udi, onto the Invisible Woman, and already his target is lined up here with Lex, able to find another one and become unstoppable. As you were commentating over this beautiful play right there, it felt like almost everything lined up for Schwam in this scenario and was able to just make the most of it. Unfortunately, unable to keep the chain going right here, but one of the best plays I've seen in our series so far here at St. Clair College.
Definitely one of the best so far. Definitely one of the best so far. I have to say that the combinations were immaculate out from Schwam, and Lex played a really good choice there. Rather than trying to just power through it and try and get him out of the game, Lex opted to just get out with a utility to just back up and deny Schwam any more chain capabilities, because you and I know, veteran players of the game ourselves, when you hear that again and again and again and again, it just becomes a masterclass of just you can't get through it. It's so hard to get through that when you are just walking into it and allowing it to get so much value.
Yeah, you need to be able to take your losses, right? At that point, the defense had already lost that preliminary first point to take the cart and get it moving, right?
Hmm.
At that point, you can't continue to let it snowball. I would rather, and they did it. I would rather see them reset, like Lex did, and get out of the bad positioning that they were putting themselves into and set up for a hold. Unfortunately, the hold just didn't come through. What did you see on like the side of the defense right there for Team Guardians that kind of lacked? Was it a lack of switching? Was it a lack of coordinating with ultimates? What did you notice right there?
I think it was partially just a lack of coordinating with your other players. Like you mentioned it, and I think we definitely saw it in that game that there were a lot of opportunities where on the side of the attack, they were great with coordinating their ultimates. They were great with just using their ultimates overall. Not to say that the defense wasn't, but still, they were really good. It was just, I think their Vanguard was the main weak point I saw. I mean, knowing Landon personally myself, part of the club team, just looking to try out a new character onto that Penny Parker. Penny Parker can be a great defensive player, but it is hard to get value when you do not know the full length and full capabilities of that hero. Now, we're going to get a little bit of a showcase of our game stats. We're going to see kills, we're going to see deaths, we're going to see assists, and Hayden, is there anything that is drawing to you right now?
Of course, Schwam, 23 and 6 with 6 assists, is easily the number one on that list, right? Able to outfrag, top frag in the entire lobby, just puts on a show really for us. But across the board for Team Thor, they were pretty even. Of course, you don't want your strategists to rack up the kills, but the assists is where it's important right there. And No Skill with 17 as the only Vanguard is quite important as well. Able to outfrag Sky Wizard and really make him feel uncomfortable on that Penny Parker right there. On the side of the Guardians, wasn't too much either way that stood out to me. Of course, the DPSs, they had their moments, they had their triples, they had their doubles, but overall they weren't able to build off of anything, and it felt like a lot of their team structure just it didn't support the pop off moments that they wanted.
I think part of that was also due to their healer composition because we saw three healers on the side of the attack, which was great to support them, and they picked great characters to dive in there and to be supported by like a Mantis, like a Cloak and Dagger, like a Luna Snow, like an Invisible Woman. We saw a little bit of that also on the attack. I think that was a great like communicating. That was a great communication between the team to try and figure out, okay, we're going to play three healers. We're going to play more of a dive comp, and we're going to get in there. We're going to get in their backline, and we're just going to disrupt them. And that's how we saw players like Schwam pop off. That's how we saw players like Lex pop off. We talked about how they are so squishy and that they can get in and they can cause a lot of damage, but they can have a very, very, very short lifespan if they are not supported correctly with enough heals to boost them up.
It sounds like you're telling me Schwam is the MVP. I think that's what you're telling me. I think I've decided as well. I think we gotta show Schwam easily the best player in this lobby. 23 kills, 6 deaths, 6 assists, a 60% kill participation. Almost unbelievable, really. It felt like, the rust was not there for Schwam in this matchup. Just kind of dominated every aspect of the game. His positioning was correct. His timing on the ultimates was correct. The communication was always there, and I just can't believe really how well he played.
I mean, yeah. Well, the stats speak for themselves. We got to see that replay as well, and overall, it was kind of a surprise for me that he was opting to go for the DPS role other than the Vanguard. And I mean, it worked out for them. We had No Skill who was on that Vanguard and played beautifully on that Groot. I mean, we saw a great ult out from them, and then everybody knows in the community with Carmageddon also there to help, you can just ult them out, and it's a great combo to get them stuck in one sense and then just dump them with as much utility, as much damage as you can.
Yeah, utility is the key on Bucky, right? You need to be able to cycle those abilities in and out, reload the weapons, keep the damage going, keep pumping out those numbers. Schwam definitely showed off his skills right there. The highlight reel, the human highlight reel, Schwam on Rivals. The rust was not there. There was no rust. He was worried. I thought, we kind of discussed it a little bit with him as we head into these replays that possibly he wasn't able to find anything. Lex, the unsung hero for the defensive side, just trying to find anything, really. Schwam, though, just everywhere. Again, we see this ultimate chain once more. It just felt like nobody really paid attention to him the entire time. It was kind of embarrassing, really, from the side of the Guardians. They just couldn't really communicate properly on where Schwam was and where these ultimates were being popped.
I think that was left too much to the responsibility of Strahls on that Hawkeye, because as Hawkeye, you can take down Winter Soldier easily. 2 shots to the head, run and done, you're gone. I think there was that moment where Schwam identified it, that he could get through that Hawkeye and create a lot of value, and then we also saw this great moment from No Skill. He was able to get right in there and find a beautiful ultimate to find 4 picks, and then I think even later in the game we found him finding like 5 or 6 as well, probably just right after that Carmageddon ult to get 3, and he was also very consistent with it as well. But each of his ultimates got at least 2, if not 3 or 4 players on the other side out of the ballpark, and I think that was a great thing to mention as well.
Yeah, Carmageddon, he played well. He stepped in and made some impact. Like we said, Lex and Carmageddon it seemed like the only 2 that kind of felt like they had real, a real drive to win that game. They tried their best, but it really felt like their supporting members, maybe their Vanguard, maybe their strategists, just weren't really in sync with them as well. The ultimates felt a little bit wasteful at times.
I think the Penny Parker was relied too much on to be that like defensive rock.
Yeah.
I think, and it goes for everything, the best defense is a good offense.
Yeah.
You need to be aggressive. You need to be handing it to the attacking team to say, you want to attack us? We're going to fight back. We're going to bite back. I think that is something that they kind of struggled with, because they did opt for those more like lay back in the back line, just shoot from afar kind of characters, rather than the get up in your face, mess up your stuff kind of play, which is what the attacking side went for with that Schwam, and then also with that Groot. Just able to get right up into your face and just deny you any kind of ability to fight back off of them. And you've got characters like Strahl who are able to get out of those scenarios, but in the moment, it just didn't work out for them. And that's where we saw players like Schwam and No Skill absolutely shine. But you know what, Hayden? I hear we've got an interview set up. I hear that we are going to be getting the one and only No Skill on the interview today.
I believe, Wyatt, I must correct you. We have our MVP. Noah has graciously decided to join us on the cast instead of No Skill. I believe, we got some discussions to have with our MVP for sure. I'm not sure if it's quite ready yet, but got to pick the brain here of our MVP. We got to ask, how does he get involved so much for sure? Hopefully they can get that interview set up soon, but whenever I'm hearing we have it ready. Let's get to that interview. I have some questions for sure involving the kill participation, so let's do it.
Any B-17s? Do we got B-17?
B-17, is there a B-17? I am joined today by our MVP, none other than?
Schwam, the GOAT. What's up? How's it going?
I have a couple questions for you. What possessed you to have such a monster game today?
I mean, I'm just the GOAT. I'm kind of just like that, you feel me? Like, every time I looked at their matchups, I looked at their careers, I was like, yo, this kind of easy. Like, it's a free matchup. They ain't gold. I'm a GM. You know how it is.
Type shit. All right, well. Now, who do you think on the enemy team gave you like a minor challenge?
I'm going to say that Moon Knight. Carmageddon, low-key, I was looking at him, I was being cautious, but he's still no match. Come on now.
It don't matter, man. You ended up winning. Now, I have a final question for you. Who's your main?
Venom. Ah! I'm the GOAT.
That's it. That's it for our post-game interview. Back to Wyatt and Hayden.
Excitement. What can you say? Schwam is just him. He is him. Like he said, he is the GOAT, and I have to agree with him right there.
Indeed, like the confidence spoke for itself. I mean, and also the ranks, like GM to gold, there's a big disparity there. So he definitely had the experience and the skill to overpower the other team. But I'd also agree with him that Carmageddon was putting it to him in crucial moments.
Yeah, it's good to see a little bit of sportsmanship right there. I think both teams they played well. It's good to acknowledge, of course, take the victory, be happy with the victory, acknowledge, how good you may be. But it's good that Schwalm was able to acknowledge that he won. He was the MVP. He was the best in the lobby right there for sure. But I think that's it for us, Wyatt. That is it for our second semifinals for this Marvel Rivals show match. We want to thank everyone in the back room for putting on a great show. We want to thank our players for participating, and I want to thank you, Wyatt, for coming out and being on the desk with me, and having a good time watching some good Marvel Rivals.
It's always a good time on the desk, especially with you, getting to cast with you, getting to cast some Marvel Rivals. Love the game, love the players, and it's all love around. It's all love around.
All love around. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you guys in the next broadcast. Take care, everyone.